JB here. December 14th, 2023. Just going to get on real quick. I've talked about a lot of the stocks that I want to talk about right now. So there hasn't been much change in my thoughts on them, but obviously some updates are in order based on what the market has done over the last couple of days. I talked a little bit about Trupanion. I've been talking about that for a while. Weight Watchers, some decent news this week. Would think it'd be trading much higher than it is now, but stuck here right under 8. VKTX, which recouped a lot of Monday's losses. So we had the big 42% gain last week. Sold off on Monday. Everybody thought, hey, that's it. What's going on? And then it recouped. Not only recouped Monday's losses, but it's higher for the week. So hopefully that holds into tomorrow. Go from there. So first off, I'll talk about Trupanion. And I've said this before, but it was one of my top 5 stocks many years ago. I don't think there's many sectors that has such a passionate consumer, right? So if you're a pet owner, that pet is your life. So whether it be feeding them, getting them groomed, or treating them when they have ailments or getting checkups, things like that, that's not going away. If anything, it's becoming more prevalent with the possibility that you can get a pet taken care of via having pet insurance. And so I've talked about Trupanion for a while. There's a huge contingent of shorts in this name. And, I put it on the watch list this morning. It's like they picked Trupanion because it's an insurer, and it's kind of an odd name because it's not a typical insurance. It's not human health coverage. It's not human insurance, right? It's pet insurance. And it's a novelty that there really hasn't been a solution in the United States, but when Trupanion got started. So it makes it an easy target. It's very easy for folks to come up with these valuation numbers and comparisons with insurance companies. You're supposed to have a certain amount of capital allocated so that if there's a influx of insurance claims, you're able to cover that, right? Because Trupanion, it self-covers their claims. They don't have a third party. It's not like they just do all the front end and then someone else covers it on the back end. They are the front and the back end for at least their program. And not only that, they've partnered with, Aflac. If you look at the Aflac website and you click pet insurance, whose name is on it? It's Trupanion. They have a partnership with Chewy. Chewy announced today that they're starting to launch veterinary clinics. They're opening a location in Florida, and then they're going to start rolling it out. Who are they partnered with? They're partnered with Trupanion. What does that mean? It means more possible members for Trupanion, because what happens? These vets are trained to let them know of a solution, because it's in the veterinarian clinic, if you're a small business or even a big business, to say, hey, you can get covered. Here's Trupanion. And what that happens when the member has an issue with their pet and brings them in, they know not only is the vet getting paid, but it's getting covered by insurance. It's a win-win. So, I just can't wrap my head around the bear. I mean, I understand it, but I can't wrap my head around why they don't think a company that's grown 20% for 20% year over year, top line, 64 straight quarters, is going to zero. I mean, and then they start attacking the CEO, saying he's bad words. But that's typical. That's what they do, right? They want to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then they also talk about churn. And their churn is the lowest it's been since 2018. So I don't get those numbers. They're saying churn is an all-time high. They're raising prices. And any good insurance company raises prices. Once you have them in that ecosystem, right? Nickel and dime them all the way up. I'm not saying it's good for the consumer, right? You don't want prices to go higher. But if you're a shareholder, you say, well, that's a good business practice. You're going to lose some people. But not only is your average revenue per member is going to increase, but then that kind of offsets some of the churn and things like that. So I just don't get it. I don't get the bear case. Not only that, they partner with an insurer in Australia. So now they're rolling out the pet insurance in Australia. And then my big bull case on Trupanion is the penetration. And if you take a look at England, it's over 25% of all the pets are covered by insurance. In the US, it's single digits. And Trupanion is the leader of pet insurance in the United States. So, I mean, unless, they call all their members, someone gets the list and say, hey, everybody do a claim at the same time, I just don't get it. They have over $200 million in cash on hand. I think it's like $65 million set aside just for liabilities. Anyway, so needless to say, you see it's soaring. I got to check how much it is up this week. I'm sure some of these folks who are short are, they're starting to sweat a little bit, right? Because not only you're paying interest on on your short, but it's going against you. It's up 22% this week. This week alone. Take a look at the month of December, and it was up in November too. It's up 37% so far this month. At some point, I mean, people got to start throwing in the towel, right? Unless you have an infinite amount of resources to continue to either add shorts or maybe you protect yourself via call options. I don't know, but sorry, folks. Still have some 3250s. I was looking to close those out today. I'll probably wait for tomorrow. There was a spike right at the open, almost near 37. I missed that move. So I'll probably hold the rest of mine into tomorrow, at least for the Decembers, and I still have January strikes. So I locked some of those in as well. So great name. I mean, it's possible, depending on where it opens tomorrow, I might look to get some strikes to play into the 40s. I think once the Reddit crowd gets it, and I hate to use stocks to get added interest just because of short interest, right? I mean, I use the short interest as part of my bull case, right? I think that the name is misunderstood, and I think the large short interest is attributed to the fact that people are creating narratives and then trying to pressure the stock. We saw it when Aflac announced when Trupanion had to file an S3 filing 2 Fridays ago. The bears over the weekend were saying that Aflac's selling their shares, and it's like, no, they had a 3-year agreement on the anniversary of the 3 years. Trupanion had to file the S3 filing that they have their 8% stake, and people, so they create this uncertainty. Oh, the CFO of Aflac, which is a $50 billion insurer, the CFO of Aflac is on the board of directors for Trupanion, and they say that's a bad thing. And he was appointed in the summer, 5 months before that S3 filing had to be put out by Trupanion. So you're saying that Aflac's going to sell their shares, but first let's put the CFO of our company on the board of directors of Trupanion and sell it at a 40% loss because they bought it at $55 a share. It just doesn't. All that stuff doesn't jive to me, but if you create a narrative around it, it's very easy to create, this short interest theory, this bearish theory. So we'll see how this all plays out. I'm not going to sit here and be overly bullish because at some point there could be some kind of news or catalyst, and we've seen what the shorts can do. They can destroy stock pretty quickly. So that's why I'll continue to lock calls on the way up, and I'll be very selective if I add some calls, especially if it breaks over $40. I'll probably, or even tomorrow, because I have my Decembers are expiring. So that's that. WW, what else to say here? It's finally over the 200-day moving average. I wish, and I don't have February strikes on my TDA, but I was looking for other positions. I talked about the 200-day moving average, which it's kind of right at right now. Was it 795? And if you take a look at the daily, well, it's 801 because the stock's going up, so the average is going up. It actually has a potential death cross. The 50-day moving average is getting near the 200. But needless to say, it's right at that 200-day moving average. But I already have January and April strikes. So for me to add any more Aprils, I'll probably just wait. I wish there was an intermediate strike, maybe February's. They came out this morning finally with their new platform to cater to GLP-1 behavior. They talked about a new behavior change program designed to support the unique needs of individuals on GLP-1 medications. Again, this is right down the wheelhouse of all these insurers. These insurance companies are going to require their folks to do some kind of behavioral change plan before they prescribe Wegovy and Ozempic and all these other GLP-1 drugs that are coming to the market. And so this is just another notch on the wall or another reason that, I think Weight Watchers heads much higher over the next couple weeks. They also said, so Weight Watchers, it's a new $99 monthly plan. I think their monthly plan already is $19.99 or $29.99. So with the $99 plan, there's a counseling thing and behavioral change and a lot of the little checkpoints that they do to help people through their journey. But also on the flip side, I would think an insurer is going to say, wow, if they did 3 months of WW and still need a prescription, let's prescribe them. And then they still stay on the Weight Watchers 99 plan, and they're taking the GLP-1 drugs. I think again, I keep posting on Twitter too, or X, excuse me, around what I think WW is. And WW to me is like Roku a couple of years ago when Roku was just at the starting stages of being the platform for content. Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, well, Max, Hulu, Peacock, all those content creators need a platform to put their content on. And that's what Roku is. And I think similar, you look at WW, and I think at some point they're just going to be the platform for health. And there's so many opportunities in enterprise when you take a look at all these large companies with thousands of employees. Part of their health insurance is going to be WW, right? And then now that you have that, now you have a solution for people who want to do the GLP-1 side. And what's the best thing for a company is to have efficient and healthy employees when they lose time because they're sick or they're overweight or have some other chronic issues because they're overweight. It's not good for the business. What's good for the business is healthy employees. So why would they not partner with WW? So I just, I get crazy and I start thinking about these things and I look at it, it's $8 and I don't even know what the market cap is right now. It's not substantial. And, a lot of that's driven by their $1.2 billion in debt. So when you have a company, actually it's $620 million market cap. They have $1.2 billion in debt. They do nearly $1 billion in revenue a year. So, at some point when that starts to shift, and a lot of their debt's further out, and now you have rates going down. The Fed pretty much set a course for at least 3 quarter point rate cuts next year. The market's pricing of 1.5% of rate cuts. That just bodes well for all these, especially debt-laden companies. So, and then last but not least, you had Oprah Winfrey come out. I think she's on the front of People magazine. She was talking back. She did a roundtable with the CEO of Weight Watchers, Weight Watchers, WW, excuse me, and she pretty much downplayed Ozempic and using drugs as a GLP-1 drugs to help in a weight loss journey. And then all of a sudden she's flipping the script and she comes out with an interview on People magazine. I don't even know if it's out yet or it's going to be out next week, where now she says, not only do I embrace it, I embrace I don't want to be shamed anymore for my weight. And she's taken a GLP-1 solution. She doesn't mention which drug it is. I just don't see how this is not bullish. WW, VKTX, NVO, LOY. NVO and LOY have already, billions and billions of dollars of valuation have been just because of GLP-1. But take a look at VKTX and how is this not $30, if not higher, into 2024? It gets me mind boggled. Got all the way down to $10 again, and here it is back in 19 only because there was an acquisition of a privately held company in California and some positive commentary from Barron's last week, and then you have some positive analyst commentary. So crazy stuff with VKTX. What do I have here? Okay. Oh, so Intuitive Surgical, I put it on the watch list. Well, I didn't have it on a watch list Monday. It started to rally. Sure enough, I was able to get some calls. I think it was 309. I don't even have to go back and look. And it's had a similar setup to what it had back in November and back in August when it ran $30 from Monday to Friday. So sure enough, what happens? Yeah, I think it was 309. It started on Monday. So kind of held on through some bumps on Monday and Tuesday, and yeah, it's up 6% this week. But 330 strikes, I got them 50 cents. Able to lock most of them out yesterday for a few %, and then the rest this morning. Yeah, maybe there'll be another chance to play Intuitive Surgical. Tight Bollinger Bands now, so I don't know how much further it has to the upside, so I'll probably revisit. And then Align. So, Align, I traded some calls, some weekly strikes, and then I said, wow, this thing looks like it might break out. Let me add some later dated December calls. I think that was back in early November. I have to go look at the date. So sure enough, what happened yesterday, it's like when you ever refresh your account and it's going up, but you don't know why, and then you look and say, whoa. At the end of the day, I'm like, wow, Align is back in the green on the calls. And then this morning, it gaps over 240. The stock started the week at 212.87. So Align's up 15% this week. So great. It's kind of like finding lost money. So I went and locked the calls in for, I go at 1,200% on, what does that look like? So $7.50 from 55 cents. So what 1,400%. Sure enough, that's when Align's at 247. It goes all the way up. What did it hit today? It hit 264. But then again, I could be holding right now. It's down here at 255, but that's still $15 on the contracts. But these are the days. They don't happen very often, so you can't sit here and try and grab crazy out of the money lottos and think it's going to happen again. But when they come back to life, they are it's certainly fun. But another great story. I think they had a patent approval for one of their lines in Canada. I think that was supposedly the catalyst. Yeah, it says shares climb following device license update in Canada. I think also it's just a function of lower rates, consumer spending, things like that. So that's a line. Similar Fiverr, I was able to lock some of my January strikes. I was hoping to get the December ones out. Went back over $30. Now it's down here, pretty much a $2 reversal. So unfortunately, I should have locked all those. Hang on one second, sorry folks. I should have locked all the Decembers in, but I didn't, and the rest will probably expire. But I still have the Januaries there. Lock some of those in. I'll probably wait on Fiverr. It seems like it struggles up here at $30, so maybe it's going to take a couple days to churn. That's through TRUP, VKTX. What else do we have? Chewy. So Chewy all the way down. I think it was 1874 was the lows at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, only to reverse course, close in the green, and then today rallied all the way up to 22 and change. Still have some January strikes, again similar to Fiverr. I probably should have locked all the January strikes in, but I still think it heads up near 25. They had their inaugural investor day today, but then there was a report that came out that the FDA was looking into, they sent a letter, an FDA warning letter about unapproved antimicrobial animal drugs. I don't know if that was the catalyst, but it's a divisive name, so all it takes is one little headline for folks to start piling in. So still like that for higher. DocuSign, another bumpy one this week. Able to, I held on. I was looking, locked some of the calls in Tuesday. Then yesterday, I was looking to lock some more in on the open. I think it was at 57. It goes all the way down into the 55. Bounces back into the green, and then today, once it started to lose some of the gains, I locked the rest in, and then I look again later. It's at 57.79. I mean, I'd rather live to see another day, lock the rest of the profits in. I'm not sure if I'm going to revisit it. I put it on the watch list. I thought maybe it gets into the 60s. I'll probably wait and see. It seems too volatile for me right now. It seems like they're still trying to churn through. Is this going lower? Is this going higher? And it's had a massive rally. So maybe if it gets back to 52, 53, I'll look to play some DocuSign. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. TripAdvisor. Unfortunately, I still have some 20s expiring tomorrow. I still have just a few 18s. I was looking to close some of the 18s. I'll probably just wait till tomorrow. They received an upgrade from BTIG Research. They took the stock from neutral to buy with a $25 price target. Maybe that gets into the 20s tomorrow, so I'll probably hold those, and I still have some of the January strikes. What else? Oh, Dirt, SMG, right? That one all the way up to $65, and then sold off. So I locked some calls in to cover costs for over 100%. I'll just hold the rest. I think it was down to 57 2 days ago, so all the way up to $65, similar to what's going on with DocuSign churning, and then probably heads higher. SSYS, I mean, DDD's been on a tear, and SSYS I already locked some of those January strikes in. I'll probably just hold those. I added the March strikes a couple days ago. I think heads into the 15s into the start of 2024, and I think that's it. That's all I have. That's my rant. I put a little post about the 2K challenge. If you want some details, really not much difference in regards to what I'm doing. It's just that it's going to be posting the position with the sizing. And not only that, it'll be a small group. And then I'll give it 10 minutes. I'll post it to the general chat with possibly another strike to take advantage. What's happened in the past, and it happens every day. If I post a trade, let's say on a somewhat illiquid name, the ask on this, let's say the stock is at $20 and I get the $22 calls, and the $22 calls are 35 cents. I can get into 35. I post that it's 35. The bid and ask are 30 cents by 35 cents, and then 2 minutes later it's 35 by 40, and then 2 minutes after that it's 40 by 45, and the underlying stock still might be somewhat around the same price. So which makes it tough. So my risk reward at when it's $20 is and I get those 22 strikes and I can get them for 35 cents. That I see that risk reward. Okay, that's a great risk reward. Now it's still at $20, but now the calls are at 45 cents, and you chase and you get those at 45 cents. The risk reward is completely different. So, and not only that, if the stock just stays where it is, you'll look back 2 hours later and the ask is going to be back at 35 cents. So that's kind of some of the reason why I want to be a small group. And then, I'll post I'll post maybe a different strike, but I'll put a disclaimer. Hey, this is what I entered on the 2K challenge. This is another strike that might work, and go from there. We'll see how it all works out. But people have been asking for me to do this for a long time, and there's a lot of time constraints, and I don't want it to take away from due diligence or reading or posting and looking at charts. So there's a lot of little things, and 12 years ago I didn't have kids, so now I have kids. So it's a different journey and different ways I have to manage time. So I think this is the right time. I feel a little more confident about the market. I mean, here we are in the midst. There's two wars raging on the planet. Well, more than that, there's things going on in Africa, then we have the inflation concerns. You look at all these companies that have debt at higher rates. There's still so many issues going on in the world, but here's the market, right at highs. Crazy. And well, I wouldn't say crazy. Market's the best pricing mechanism on the planet, you would think. So it knows what's going on. I think that's it. I'll try to get back on audio tomorrow. And if you have any questions, by all means, send an email. If you have any suggestions, you can message me here in the chat room. But let's have a great day, folks. Hopefully tomorrow's another good day and head into the weekend. Looking good as we head into the end of the year. So, thank you, Fed Chair Powell. All right, have a great day, folks. Rock and roll.